So I've just created an A3 document and moved that central image to the document. I'm going to make a backup copy of that for later, so if you could right click on that layer and duplicate it, or drag it to the little plus and just hide one of those away. So to start off this double exposure effect, what we're going to do is make sure that we've got our other images in the spaces that we want them to be over those shapes. And once you've got them positioned and placed, if you just hide them, turn the eyeball off for now, and if you click on your main layer, we're going to actually start cutting these arms out. So if you go to our object selection tool on the left hand side and click that, you can tap this object and it should cut out fairly easily. You may have to go in with your quick selection tool, but it should select that quite quickly. If you can't find it, it may be hiding underneath your magic wand tool, so click and hold it and you might find it there. So once you're happy with that, you want to click this option at the bottom, and essentially this is how it should look. So once you've got that selected, you want to make a copy of this layer. If I can find it, so you want to duplicate that layer. Click OK, so we've got a backup, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to move that above the scenery, so we just make sure that's hidden again for now, and we show the scenery. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the scenery, and we're going to go to create clipping mask, and what that does is it clips it into that shape beneath it. So what you can then do is adjust the shape and move it around if you want to. And then we're going to click on our other layer, so we're going to make that visible again. So if you click in your mask here, so if you click into this area, you'll find, so what you have to do is you go in with your paintbrush. If it's black, it will erase away any of the hand, any of those details in the hand. If it's white, it'll add more in. So if I go in with the black paintbrush, you may want to make it a bit bigger and make sure that it's quite fluffy and it's not too hard. So if you start adding black to that clipping mask, what it'll do is it'll erase away that top layer and it'll bring in some of that detail. Okay, so again, what we're going to do after that is just repeat the process. So if I go back to my move tool and I go to that layer that I duplicated earlier, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag that to the top of my layers underneath that cityscape and switch that back on, and then I'm going to repeat the process. So object selection tool, click on that object and just wait for it to load, and there we go, we've got that object selected. So we're going to click on that option again to create a vector mask. So if you click that option again, it should cut out the background and you'll get your vector mask. So if we duplicate this layer again, you can name them if you like, and then drag that layer above the cityscape. And then if we click our cityscape and make it visible and hide the top layer again, what we do then is right click the cityscape and we go to create clipping mask. Sorry, I've clicked the wrong thing here, ignore that. We want to make it a clipping mask, sorry, so create clipping mask, and then it will crop into that space. So you can reposition that again to wherever you like it, and once you're happy, if you click the top layer visible and then click and make sure that you are on the correct brush, so you want to make sure it's black, go to your brush, and unfortunately I didn't actually click into the vector mask, so ignore what I did there. You've got to make sure that you click into your vector mask over here, and then you can start adding extra black into those areas. Now if you want to, if you feel like you've removed too much detail from certain areas of the hand, you can switch your brush colour to white. What you'll have to do though is, so if I do that here, if I go back in with the white and bring in some of that detail back, what it does is it also brings in the background, so you want to make sure that you stay within the confine of the shape that you started with, those hands and arms, okay? But yeah, essentially once you've done that, you get this really nice image. If you want to remove any small details that have been picked up by the object selection tool, you can later go in, if you go into your clipping mask, your vector mask, but you have to do it on both layers and make sure that you are on the black. So you want to be adding in background rather than removing it, and make your brush a bit firmer just to get those little details. But you have to make sure that you apply it to both of those hand layers rather than just the one, okay? Hopefully this helps. If you're having any more trouble with it, just let me know.